Hey guys, we have a lot to go over today. We have the T50 that, as we all know, I was lucky enough to have the first damaged one in the whole country, but we got it fixed. So thanks to Grayson, thanks to Talos, thanks to DJI for getting us all the parts we needed. We called around like crazy, couldn't find anything. So they finally not overnighted them, overboated them, whatever they could to get them to us as quickly as they could. Thank you so much, guys. We got it repaired and I was a little nervous. I'm like, man, this thing went flying out of the back of a truck, end over end. I'm sure anybody that's flown and crashed before has done similar or done a lot worse. So we had a snapped in one arm, had several props that were out. We were worried about the ESC modules, everything else, RTK, all kinds of amazing little flashy errors popped up on it. We replaced the props, adjusted the RTK module, had to do very little modifications under the hood. It turned out great. Thanks to Grayson for putting that all together. It turned right on, powered right up, took right off. We've been spraying a lot with it. A lot of people have had questions, what kind of results are we getting in the field? They told us initially 50 acres an hour if you're doing 2 gallons per acre, 32-foot swath width at max speed, 32 feet per second, which, you know, for us, you know, in freedom calculations, you know, is about 19, 20 miles an hour. And it's pretty accurate. We are able to get about 50 acres an hour with it. We do have to change that if we're doing higher rates, if you're doing something like Gramoxone, Liberty, something like that. As we all know, label is a law, so we have to go by the rates, micron sizes, things like that, dropping down to about 35 to 37 acres an hour if we're doing at 5-gallon rates, which is typical for our fungicides. So burn down went great with it, and then everything we've sprayed since the repair has been great. Our pattern testing has been phenomenal. Swath testing, everything's been great. You know, with these, you're able to change your micron sizes, your swath width, things like that on the fly from the controller themselves. Has been great. I'm trying to think of any other changes we had with them. The collision avoidance has been better with it. Like I said, when you take off, used to we just had the front facing. Now it's got the top and bottom like this. So when the drone does kind of cant forward, it does have a little better collision avoidance with it. The speed is a lot better with it. I know having the same 10.5 gallons, there's been questions about, well, how is it able to put out more acres per hour? I think it's the speed, it's the pump systems, things like that on it are changed. I don't know the exact details of it. I don't think they've released that information, but I can tell a difference in the spraying of it. So it has been a really, really good change for it. I think, like we said, the last few years, these have always been, you know, I've heard, you know, growing up in that community in the crop duster world, it's like, oh, you can spray a garden with these, but you can't, you know, spray a field with it. Well, that's wrong completely. A lot of the changes we've had with the FAA and what they're able to do now, you know, not spraying's on the table. You know, we've not done that. We've, you know, filed for that. The, you know, swarming feature is not, I don't think, anywhere yet to where I would honestly say to my clients, yes, swarming, this is what we're going to be doing. I think it's possible. I think it's coming. Right now, we're still going to stick to the same one pilot, one drone, and then, of course, our visual observers. There is the exemption out there to where I think where you can get to where you don't have to have your visual observer under certain circumstances. For questions like that, I always defer us to our aviation attorney expert, Jonathan Ruprecht. So anything like that, ask him. Don't ask me that specifically because that's Jonathan's pond. I don't want to step into that. This is my pond, and this is where I'm going to stay. And that's another thing is people ask, well, how durable are these if we crash and this and that? Very easy to repair, especially with us who have know how to do it. Not that we've crashed a ton of drones. Of course, everyone should have crashed a drone. Hopefully, if you haven't crashed a drone, you're not trying hard enough or you're not working hard enough. But anyway, we do at Southern Drone Ops, we've got all parts. We're able to repair just about everything on them. If we can't, we've got the abilities or the resources to get them repaired whichever way needed. So that's something that we, you know, kind of pride ourselves on. We're not just selling drones and we're not just trying to get those out to you. We don't do tail light warranties. We support you. We do service after the sale. We get out in the field with you. I can come out. I've got tons of clients we spent a week with in the field to make sure they're as comfortable as possible. We've set up their entire spraying operation from start to finish. And so that's the thing now is that the T50s are here. The shipment was delayed. They should be here hopefully within the next just short little bit. If there was any hesitancy on waiting on those, they're going to be here. We've got a date now where they're going to be in. So I would say it's time now to go ahead and start with the exemptions going through quicker than ever. Yeah, there are some other guidelines you do have to meet before they're granting the exemptions now, but we've always kind of routed around that. That really was to kind of go work around the paper mills and people writing exemptions that probably should have never been doing it. You know, in my opinion, it should be, you know, an attorney writing and submitting paperwork for another company. That's how it probably should have always been. It wasn't that way. I think that's what they're moving more to now. And so like Jonathan Ruprecht, our aviation attorney, that's who I highly recommend. He handles all of our clients. That way, you know, you're set up correctly. We all know what starts well, ends well. So with Jonathan taking care of all of that, as far as I guess the old exemptions, and now we've got the new exemptions with the night spraying and the swarming and, you know, the one without having to have a visual observer. So let's leave all those questions for Jonathan. He's got a phenomenal portal system to where if you have any questions about that, email us. And that's the first step we do, is we set you up with Jonathan to make sure that you get your questions answered, you feel comfortable, and that you're safe and that you're protected. Then we take over, we do the dealership to where we will evaluate what equipment you need and, you know, not sell you anything more than you need, but definitely get you, you know, all the right equipment and then get you trained on it. It's one thing to get the equipment and then get it to your farm and then you go, oh no, what do we do now? It's one, and it's you know, being an ag and being it myself, you think, well, I can figure this stuff out. And then you get it and you want to do all the really neat, cool stuff. It takes a lot of training. It's a lot of things that you have to go through, and that's what we're here to help with. So we want to make sure that you're supported every way. We've got the consulting packages to where we can come out to you for a week, support you all the way up until then, and then even up to a year afterwards, to where that way we all know if you have a minor issue can turn into a major issue. You lose 2 or 3 days and that's a wash, and that's just not acceptable in the agriculture world. That's why we're here. I think we've made just about every mistake we can out there. So learn from us to where we can help you walk through those things, make you as efficient as possible, make it to where your yield is as max as possible, and you're able to do things on your farm that you've never been able to do before, or if they were done by somebody else. So send us a message, give us a like and follow, and let us know what else you want to know. Thanks, guys.